From devastating earthquakes and deadly tsunamis to catastrophic storms and famine, these unimaginable events have left indelible marks on our world. In this gripping journey, we will uncover the top 10 deadliest natural disasters in history you won't believe. These real-life stories of unimaginable destruction and human resilience will leave you in awe and remind us of the sheer power and unpredictability of nature. Number 10. Bola Cyclone, 1970. In the Bay of Bengal, a monster was brewing, a cyclone unlike any other. On November 12, 1970, the Bola Cyclone struck East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, with unimaginable force, setting the stage for one of the deadliest natural disasters in history. With wind speeds reaching a ferocious 185 kilometers per hour, 115 miles per hour, the cyclone unleashed its fury upon the coastal regions, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. As homes crumbled and trees snapped like twigs, the sheer power of the cyclone was felt by all. The storm surge, a wall of water propelled by the cyclone's force, engulfed the low-lying areas, sweeping away entire villages and leaving behind scenes of unimaginable horror. The Bola Cyclone spared no one in its path, claiming the lives of an estimated 300,000 to 500,000 people, making it one of the deadliest tropical cyclones in recorded history. Number 9. Shanxi Earthquake, 1556. In the heart of China's Shanxi province, tragedy struck in the form of a cataclysmic earthquake. On January 23, 1556, the ground beneath the region trembled violently, toppling buildings, and unleashing destruction on an unimaginable scale. The Shanxi Earthquake, also known as the Huasyan Earthquake, stands as one of the deadliest earthquakes in recorded history. Estimates of the earthquake's magnitude vary, with some experts suggesting a magnitude of around 8.0 or higher. Regardless of the precise measurement, the impact was catastrophic. Entire towns and villages were reduced to rubble, burying thousands of people beneath the debris. The death toll from the Shanxi earthquake is estimated to range from 830,000 to 1.2 million, making it one of the deadliest disasters humanity has ever faced. Number 8. The Great Smog of London, 1952. London, a bustling metropolis, fell under a shroud of darkness and despair in December 1952. What started as an ordinary fog soon transformed into a lethal concoction of pollution and weather conditions, giving birth to the infamous Great Smog. A deadly combination of coal smoke, industrial emissions, and weather patterns trapped pollutants close to the ground, enveloping the city in a thick blanket of toxic smog. As the smog descended upon London, visibility rapidly deteriorated, reducing it to a mere few feet. The air became unbreathable, filled with noxious gases and microscopic particles that penetrated deep into the lungs of the city's inhabitants. Over the course of 5 days, the Great Smog took a heavy toll on human life. In the aftermath of the Great Smog, the city counted its losses. The official death toll stood at around 4,000, but it is believed that the true number may have been much higher. The effects of the smog were particularly devastating for vulnerable populations, such as the elderly, young children, and individuals with pre-existing respiratory conditions. Number 7. The Indian Ocean Tsunami, 2004. A day that started like any other turned into a nightmare of unimaginable proportions on December 26, 2004. The tranquil shores of the Indian Ocean were shattered by the sheer force of a catastrophic tsunami. Triggered by a massive undersea earthquake off the coast of Sumatra, Indonesia, the Indian Ocean tsunami sent towering walls of water hurtling toward the surrounding countries, leaving devastation in its wake. Within hours, coastal communities across the Indian Ocean rim were transformed into scenes of utter destruction. Entire villages were wiped off the map as the tsunami's waves swept away buildings, infrastructure, and thousands of lives. The sheer scale of the disaster was staggering, with waves reaching heights of up to 30 meters, 98 feet, and traveling vast distances across the ocean. The Indian Ocean tsunami claimed the lives of an estimated 230,000 to 280,000 people across 14 countries, making it one of the deadliest natural disasters in history. The human toll was unimaginable, leaving behind grieving families, displaced communities, and a profound sense of loss. Number 6. Tangshan Earthquake, 1976. On July 28, 1976, the city of Tangshan in northeastern China was jolted awake by a violent tremor that shattered the tranquility of the night. The Tangshan earthquake, with a magnitude of 7.8, struck with relentless force, toppling buildings and turning the city into a graveyard of rubble. It remains one of the deadliest earthquakes in recorded history. The earthquake struck during the early hours of the morning when many residents were still asleep. In a matter of seconds, homes, factories, and infrastructure crumbled under the immense power of the seismic forces. The city was plunged into chaos as thousands were trapped beneath the debris, their cries for help echoing through the wreckage. The death toll from the Tangshan earthquake is estimated to be between 242,000 and 655,000, making it one of the deadliest natural disasters in modern history. The loss of life was staggering, leaving behind a scar that would take years to heal. Number 5. The heat wave in Europe, 2003. The summer of 2003 brought scorching temperatures that descended upon Europe, turning the continent into a furnace. The extreme heat wave, characterized by prolonged high temperatures and oppressive humidity, wreaked havoc on both urban centers and rural communities. As temperatures soared to unprecedented levels, the consequences were far-reaching and deadly. The heat wave claimed the lives of an estimated 70,000 people across Europe, making it one of the deadliest weather-related disasters in recent history. The most vulnerable populations, such as the elderly and those with pre-existing health conditions, were particularly susceptible to the sweltering temperatures. Cities turned into hotbeds of suffering as the infrastructure struggled to cope with the relentless heat. Hospitals were overwhelmed, and morgues reached capacity as the death toll continued to rise. The streets themselves radiated heat, creating an environment that was unbearable for many. Number 4. Hurricane Katrina, 2005. In August 2005, the Gulf Coast of the United States witnessed the wrath of one of the most powerful and destructive hurricanes in history, Hurricane Katrina. With winds exceeding 175 miles per hour, 280 kilometers per hour, this Category 5 hurricane made landfall with catastrophic force, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. As Hurricane Katrina barreled towards the Gulf Coast, cities and communities braced themselves for the impact. Levees, designed to protect against storm surges, failed under the relentless assault of wind and water, leading to widespread flooding. New Orleans, in particular, bore the brunt of the hurricane's fury, as neighborhoods were submerged under several feet of water. The human toll of Hurricane Katrina was staggering. The official death toll stands at approximately 1,200, but the indirect impact of the storm, including the displacement of thousands of people and the strain on essential services, further intensified the tragedy. The aftermath of the hurricane revealed a stark reality of societal inequality and systemic failures in emergency preparedness and response. Number 3. The 1931 China floods. One of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history is the 1931 China floods, also known as the Great Flood of China. It occurred in the summer of 1931, primarily affecting the central areas of China, including the Yangtze River Basin. The floods were triggered by a combination of heavy rainfall and the failure of river embankments. The extent of the devastation caused by the 1931 China floods is staggering. It is estimated that approximately 3.7 million people lost their lives, although some estimates range as high as 4 million. The floodwaters covered vast areas, submerging cities, towns, and agricultural lands. The destruction of homes, infrastructure, and crops resulted in widespread displacement. The scale of this disaster and its impact on human lives is unparalleled. The 1931 China floods serve as a tragic reminder of the vulnerability of densely populated regions to natural disasters and the importance of effective disaster management and infrastructure to mitigate such events in the future. Number 2. Mount Tambora eruption, 1815. In the year 1815, the world witnessed the cataclysmic power of nature unleashed upon the island of Sumbawa in Indonesia. Mount Tambora, a towering volcano that had been dormant for centuries, erupted with unimaginable force. The eruption sent plumes of ash and gas soaring into the atmosphere, triggering a series of devastating consequences that reverberated across the globe. The eruption of Mount Tambora ranks among the most powerful volcanic eruptions in recorded history. The explosion was heard over 1,600 kilometers, 1,000 miles, away, and the volcanic ash reached as far as Europe, causing significant disruptions in the climate. The ash cloud blotted out the sun, leading to a phenomenon known as the Year Without a Summer in 1816, which brought freezing temperatures and crop failures in many parts of the world. The immediate impact of the eruption was profound. The surrounding areas were engulfed in pyroclastic flows, a deadly mix of hot ash, gases, and rock fragments that swept down the slopes of the volcano. Tens of thousands of people perished in the eruption and its immediate aftermath, buried beneath the volcanic debris. The far-reaching consequences of the 𝗦𝗛𝗢𝗘𝗧 eruption were felt for years to come. The global climate anomalies caused by the eruption led to widespread crop failures, famine, and social unrest in various parts of the world. Number 1. The Black Death, 1347 to 1351. The deadliest natural disaster in human history, the Black Death, sent shockwaves of fear and devastation throughout medieval Europe. Starting in 1347, this devastating pandemic spread like wildfire, decimating populations and forever altering the course of history. The Black Death was caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis, which was primarily transmitted by fleas that infested black rats. It is estimated that between 75 to 200 million people lost their lives during the Black Death, which accounted for approximately 30 to 60% of Europe's population at the time. The pandemic swept through cities, towns, and villages, leaving behind a trail of death and despair. Entire communities were ravaged, with the afflicted suffering from agonizing symptoms, including fever, swollen lymph nodes, and blackened skin. The Black Death struck fear into the hearts of people, who were left to grapple with the devastating loss of loved ones and the profound uncertainty of the future. The devastating impact of the Black Death spurred advancements in medical knowledge and hygiene practices, ultimately contributing to the prevention and control of future outbreaks. From devastating earthquakes to lethal pandemics, each disaster has left an indelible mark on our species' collective memory. These events serve as a stark reminder of nature's unpredictable power and the precarious nature of our existence. They expose human civilization's vulnerability in the face of enormous forces beyond our control. However, they also highlight the extraordinary resilience and strength of the human spirit.